Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Master Business English. I'm Karima, your English business coach. Today's lesson, we're going to talk about typical mistakes to avoid in present simple. So, this lesson will be very useful, and I encourage you to stay and to follow and to listen and learn the whole lesson. Why is present simple tense so important? Why is it important? Let's learn. It is very important because it is only used for description in general, for giving information and facts, for routines and habits, for truths, and for permanent situations. Only when you have one of these conditions, some of them, or all of them all together in one action or activity, you must use only present simple tense and not any other tense. Okay? Just present simple. So, but the real question is, why is present simple so important? Just because we need to review or to learn or to memorize these conditions? No, not only. It is important because we use it a lot in our daily life, also at work. For example, in business English or at work, when we have a customer that comes to visit us, we welcome this person, but also explain or we start to describe our company. Okay? And afterwards, we start to talk about our tasks, our jobs, and we go on and continue describing our tasks at work. So we normally tell them a description of our work, a routine. Yes, but not also that, because if they ask us a question about how about our company, for example, we start to describe it. So we must use present simple. And also when we have to give instructions, maybe we have to describe how a machine works or what it does, for example, we also need to give information. Or for example, when you are traveling and you ask for information, the question and the answer must be done in present simple. And more, maybe you want to talk about how is your life in your country, how your habits, for example. And here you also need to use present simple. And when you want to talk about facts or truth in general, also here, present simple again. And whatever action or activity which is a permanent situation must be used or must be expressed in present simple. For that reason, the present simple is really important because we use it, we use it very much, but we should know when to be used. Let's go on with our lesson. So, the difficult part here is how to conjugate it. So when we talk about conjugation, it is necessary, completely necessary to learn about it because, okay, when we talk or when we write, we need to use it correctly. In English, we have few rules, few grammar rules, okay, but we should know how to use them properly in order to express ourselves in a good way, in order to be able to communicate, because the objective is to think in English and to communicate in a fluent way. That is the objective of English. So in our lessons, we're going to teach you this in order to help you to be fluent in English, to be able to communicate very well with your customers or your suppliers, or in general, just in English. So, go on. How to conjugate the present simple? Well, here we have our first form. If you have the subject pronoun I, you, we, they, the verb goes in infinitive. For example, let's check it. They work in the afternoon. We provide you a copy of our sales report weekly. You encourage our production area very well. The verb work, provide, and encourage are in infinitive. And why are they in infinitive? Because we have the subject pronouns they, we, and you. For that reason, the verb goes in infinitive. Let's see more. Well, right now, let's go to see the second form. Here we have he, she, and it. And the general rule when we add the s to the verb. So every time you have the subject pronoun he, she, or it, to the verb, we need to add an s. Let's go to see the examples. He writes several reports. He writes several reports. She manages the operation division. She manages the operation division. His department purchases all the raw materials. His department purchases all the raw materials. Here we have the subjects. Pronouns are he, she, his department, that will be considered like it. And the verbs are writes, manages, purchases. Here we can see we have add s to the verb in present simple. That is the general rule. A trick I would like to share with you. In order to internalize and never forget the third person conjugation s, I will always recommend you, every time you do your homework or your exercises, okay, to read loud and to keep the s, to hold it. For example, he writes several reports. She manages the operation division. His department purchases, and you see, you keep the s. So little by little, your brain and your mind and your mouth will start to remember to use the s every time you will use the present simple with he, she, and it. Take into account this advice. It will be extremely useful for you. Next rule. When the verb ends in s, ss, ch, x, o, or sh, to the verb you should add es. Only when you use the subject pronoun he, she, and it. Again, when you have the subject pronoun he, she, and it, and the verb ends in s, sh, ch, ss, x, or o, to the verb you add es. Let's see some examples. He rarely discusses with the client. He rarely discusses with the client. What information to put in his reports? What information to put in his reports? He rarely discusses with the client what information to put in his reports. He rarely discusses. Next, he addresses revenue issues in the first place. He addresses revenue issues in the first place. Here we have he as a subject, and the verbs are discusses, addresses. In both cases, the verb ends in double S. That's why we added es after. Let's see the next form. When you have the subject pronoun he, she, and it, and the verb ends in consonant and y, we just need to drop y and add ies. So again, when we have the subject pronoun he, she, and it, and the verb ends in consonant plus y, very important, consonant plus y, you need to drop the y and add ies. Let's see some examples. She carries the photocopies. She carries the photocopies. He always replies to the sales department. She always replies to the sales department. The HR office notifies her discharge. The HR office notifies her discharge. Here we have the subject pronoun she, he, and the HR office. In all these cases, the verb, okay, and the verbs end in consonant and y. That's why we drop the y and add ies. Good. So, have you understood the rule of the third person conjugation? Hope yes. That was easy as pie, right? Great. So, let's go to learn a little bit more. Structure and conjugation together. A positive sentence. Remember that when we use the positive sentence, we always have to use this structure. The subject, the auxiliary, the verb, and the complement. Subject, auxiliary, verb, and complement. And this structure, you cannot exchange the position of those elements or to omit one of them. No, you should always start with the subject, then after the auxiliary, then the verb, and then of course the complement. Okay? Don't forget this because this is super important, not only for present simple, but also for all the tenses. So I would recommend it to you to keep this in your mind in order to express yourself in a positive sentence. So remember, subject, auxiliary, verb, and complement. But do not worry. In our lessons, we will constantly remember it to you. Let's see some examples. And why examples? Because through examples, we understand better. We learn in an easier way too. So let's see. We want to be a manager. We want to be a manager. We is a subject. Want is the verb. To be a manager is a complement. She tries her best every day. She tries her best every day. Here we have the subject. She tries, verb, her best every day, complement. He manages the finance division. He manages the finance division. He is a subject, manages, the verb, the finance division, the complement. So in this way, we start to learn to speak properly, but also to communicate better. Now it's your turn. Let's practice. So, I would recommend it to you in order to help you to learn in a better way, okay, to write your answers in the chat box or in the comments of Facebook or YouTube. It doesn't matter. The fact is that you need to start putting in practice what you have just learned. And so, therefore, in this way, you will start internalizing the information in order to start to speak fluent, properly, and to have an effective communication. Let's see. Let's conjugate the next verb in brackets. The HR chief, GOP, agree with his manager. We need to conjugate the verb agree. The HR chief agree with his manager. How's the conjugation? Write down the comments and start learning. So, it is the HR chief agrees with his manager. Agrees because we're talking about he or she as a subject pronoun. The HR chief agrees. More. Conjugate the verb again. He, gap, the verb to conjugate fix the presentation. He fixed the presentation. Conjugate it. Let's see. Fixes. He fixes the presentation. Here the verb ends in X. Therefore, we should add to the verb es. And certainly the subject pronoun is he. Next word. He, gap, deny all responsibility. He deny all responsibility. How is the conjugation here? Let's see. Good. He denies all responsibility. He is a subject pronoun. Therefore, the verb needs to be conjugated accordingly. And the verb was or is finished in consonant plus Y. For that reason, we drop the Y and add IES. He denies all responsibility. Next one. She, gap, veto every idea that I suggest. She veto every idea that I suggest. Veto. How is it? Let's see. She vetoes every idea that I suggest. She vetoes every idea that I suggest. Here we have the subject pronoun he, she. In this case, she. Therefore, and the verb ends in O. For that reason, to the verb we add es. She vetoes. So now, next exercise. My boss worry about me. My boss worry about me. How's the conjugation? My boss worries about me. My boss worries about me. Because my boss can be he or she. And here the verb ends in consonant plus Y. For that reason, we eliminate, we drop the Y and add IES. My boss worries about me. Next. It takes 45 minutes to get the headquarters. It takes 45 minutes to get the headquarters. Very good. It takes 45 minutes to get the headquarters. It takes 45 minutes to get the headquarters. It takes. To the verb, we add the general rule, adding s. It takes 45 minutes to get the headquarters. More. They upload the pictures for the presentation. They upload the pictures for the presentation. How is it? They upload the pictures for the presentation. They upload the pictures for the presentation. Very well done. Here, the subject is they. For that reason, the verb remains in infinitive. In other words, we do not add s, es, or ies to the verb because we're talking about the subject they. Next, the IT employee always repair our printer. The IT employee always repair our printer. How's the conjugation? Excellent. The IT employee always repairs our printer. The IT employee always repairs our printer. The IT employee can be also he or she. That is the third person of the subject pronoun. Is a subject pronoun third person. For that reason, to the verb, we add the s. We apply here the general rule. The IT employee always repairs our printer. Excellent work. Very good. Good work. Here, let's go to check all together the answers. Okay? The HR chief agrees with his manager. The HR chief agrees with his manager. He fixes the presentation. He fixes the presentation. He denies all responsibility. He denies all responsibility. She vetoes every idea that I suggest. She vetoes every idea that I suggest. My boss worries about me. My boss worries about me. It takes 45 minutes to get the headquarters. It takes 45 minutes to get the headquarters. They upload the picture for the presentation. They upload the picture for the presentation. The IT employee always repairs our printer. The IT employee always repairs our printer. The verbs here, agrees, fixes, denies, vetoes, worries, takes, and repairs are conjugated due to the third subject pronoun, the third person, okay? But they upload, it is also conjugated. Well, in fact, to they, we, you, and I, we just add the verb in infinitive. So don't forget to add to the third person conjugation the s, es, or ies in your sentences. Okay? Let's go to check typical mistakes to avoid in present simple. But before, I would like to tell you that the next slides are super important to keep in your mind. So in this way, you will really learn English and will not forget, okay, those typical mistakes that people and our students make. Okay? Good. So we have, she worked in Electrolux. She works in Electrolux? That's wrong. The correct is she works in Electrolux. She works in Electrolux. Why? Because we have here she, the subject pronoun she. For that reason to the verb, we apply the general rule and add s. Next mistake. It takes 45 minutes to get the headquarters. It takes 45 minutes to get the headquarters? No, the correct is it takes 45 minutes to get the headquarters. It takes 45 minutes to get the headquarters. It takes. Don't forget the S in the third person conjugation. I haven't time. What? I haven't time. That's incorrect. It doesn't have sense. You must say, I don't have time. I don't have time. Don't forget to follow here the structure in a negative sentence. We must start with the subject, the auxiliary, the verb, and the complement. And certainly, in a negative sentence, we must use the negative auxiliary. In the present simple, it is, in this case, don't. Okay, I don't have time. But if the subject pronoun is he, she, or it, the auxiliary is doesn't. Next mistake. You understand me? What? Do you understand me? That's wrong. Here we want to make a question. So don't forget the structure of a question. And don't forget the auxiliary. In this case, the structure is auxiliary, subject, verb, and complement. And in present simple, the auxiliary is do. So we start, do you understand me? That is a question. Do you understand me? Don't forget to make good questions, please, using the structure and the auxiliaries, the correct auxiliaries. Next mistake. Are you go? What? Are you go? Wrong again. Here, do you go? Do you go? Here again, don't forget the auxiliary. Don't forget the auxiliary in a question, but also the structure. We start with the auxiliary, then the subject, then the verb and the complement. And of course, we close, if we are writing, with a question mark. So, do you go? Next. More mistakes. I am agree? No. I am agree? No. Correct? I agree. I agree. Never, please, use I am agree. Remember that in present simple, in positive, we do not use the auxiliary in a positive sentence. So the structure is subject and then the verb and the complement. For that reason, we say I agree, but never I am agree. Next mistake. I am drink water. What? I'm drink water. Wrong. You should say I drink water. I drink water. Subject, verb, and complement. Drink. I drink water. Other mistake. I'm not play tennis. I'm not play tennis. That's also wrong. We say I don't play tennis. In a present simple tense, the negative sentence is with the auxiliary don't. Don't forget the negative auxiliary in a negative sentence. And present simple, it is I don't play tennis. Next mistake. Why you stay in London? Why you stay in London? Wrong again. The correct one is why do you stay in London? Why do you stay in London? Don't forget the auxiliary in a question. Here we have a WH. So in a structure, we start with a WH and then the auxiliary, then the subject and the verb and the complement. So why do you stay in London? Why do you stay in London? Good. The last one, I not agree. I not agree. Wow, the correct is I don't agree. I don't agree. That's correct. In a negative sentence, don't forget the negative auxiliary. In present simple, here, I don't agree. I don't agree. So now you have learned the typical mistakes students make and normal people make. So you have just learned what you shouldn't do. So hope this will help you to rocket your English. Very, very good. Keep those mistakes in your mind, avoid them, and you will speak properly. You will communicate effectively. Good. So now I want to tell you that it is your turn. Exactly, your turn. Why? Because now you must put into practice what you have learned, writing down on your comments, on Facebook, on your chat box, on YouTube, on your socials, on your WhatsApp, for example, or just on a piece of paper, writing down some sentences, putting in practice the tricks you have just learned in today's lesson. Exactly. Why, Karim? Because this is the way you will start learning, creating your own sentences. In that way, you're going to start to put into practice and to understand and to organize your ideas and put into practice the structures, the conjugations. So you are going to start learning English and very quickly. That is a very good way of learning whatever language. After learning a couple of tricks, you must start put them into practice. So write down, create your own sentence, apply the tricks and the rules you have just learned in today's lesson. And after, when you finish to write, please read them loud voice. Read all those sentences loud voice. In this way, you're going to fix it in your mind. Exactly, fix it in your mind. And you're going to rocket very fast your English. You're going to learn very quickly. So then you're going to internalize the information and it will be very simple for you to speak or to write without thinking on the rules or the tricks. They will just come in a very simple and easy way. This is the way you're going to start thinking in English too. And be natural, very natural. Okay? Good. This is the way. For that reason, today's lesson, we have also read all the answers together. And I always repeat and read the sentences twice or more times. So in this way, you can learn also how to pronounce the words. How to pronounce the words. Yes, those are tricks that you must remember. The first one is to, when you learn a trick, a rule, just start creating your own sentences. Write down them on a paper or in whatever place you want, but start put them into practice. After you finish, you must read them all loud, in order to fix the information in your mind. But remember, learning is a process. But reading loud voice will start to fix that information little by little in a very quickly way. That information you will fix in your mind. So then when you will speak or write, it will come very simple, in a very natural way. And of course, During our lessons, you learn how to pronounce the words, because I am also teaching you how to pronounce them. Can you see how many tricks, how many good things I'm teaching you? Also, I'm teaching you how to learn English, and that is very, very important. Very important. Take and put them into practice. Okay? Put these tips into practice. Excellent work. I'm very proud of you. Very well done. Here you have some resources for practicing. I want to share with you some websites that you can use in order to put into practice what you have learned, or also to study more about the grammar rules too. The first website, perfectenglishgrammar.com, is a very complete website because it includes not only the lesson, but also video, exercise, PDF materials, and tons and tons of tests and exercise to put them in practice. Okay? The other is the online exercise englishforyou.de. It also contains very useful exercise too, not only in present simple, but also in general, for all the tenses. A very good website is the next one, eagerforyou.com, that it includes a variety of English tests, so you can see how much you have learned. The next one is a very complete website too, that contains grammar, vocabulary, tests, exams, and a lot of practice, englishhilfen.de. And of course, don't forget British Council, which offers tons of information you can use in order to improve your English too. Here, I wrote some of the websites that are related to the present simple, okay? And of course, also a YouTube video from British Council. So here you have not only the theory, but also exercise too. I do recommend you to put into practice what you have learned and use these resources for improving your English, ameliorating your present simple tense in order to avoid those terrible mistakes we have seen. And then I would like to invite you to our webinars and our live lessons too. Every Wednesday at 1700 hours or 5 p.m. Come and learn with us in order to improve and rocket your English for work or business. That is the objective, the real objective, of course. And thank you. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to our channel and also like us. Thank you very much for today's lesson. And please write your comments about maybe if you like or dislike the lesson, what you consider you suggest in order to help us to improve our videos or our topics. Maybe you can suggest us a topic that you would like to learn so we can create a lesson for you. Or just write your sentences and we can correct you if you make a mistake, of course. Thank you very much for today and see you soon. Bye.